Hello and welcome to Our Year with the Ears, our daily vlog where we relive our year living in the Walt Disney World resorts in 2019. Today is day 223.
It is once again moving day today, and we are leaving our theme park view room here at Grand Floridian, but we are not going very far. In fact, this is going to be the shortest move all year long because we're going to the building next door. So that's really nice. We're very excited about that, especially because that building is the club level lounge at Grand Floridian. There are actually two lounges here at Grand Floridian. There's one in the main building and one in the outer building called Sugar Loaf. We're going to Sugar Loaf first. We'll be doing the main building later this year. But with this stay, we have now stayed at every resort that has a club level lounge on Disney property. That also means we have had a lot of food this year because we eat so much when we stay here.
And it's been really cool because we can kind of compare what we like and don't like about different club levels. And there have been some that we liked a little more than others, Wilderness Lodge, and some others that were just like, they weren't necessarily disappointing. It was just the food options maybe were a little more limited, or we didn't like the lounge as much. It's been kind of cool to just compare all the different lounges.
It has, and like I said, that means we've had a lot of food and we really enjoy that. So we got packed up this morning and walked over and got checked in, asked if they thought our room would be ready so that we can just go from one room to the other. Unfortunately, they did have a full day the day before, so it's going to take housekeeping a while to clean it. Won't be ready on time, and that's totally fine. But that doesn't mean we can't enjoy breakfast because we're already here. So we walked inside and could not believe the spread they had for breakfast. They have this massive counter and they just filled it with food. So many different things like pastries and fruit, oatmeal, just a wide variety of things. There was nothing that was super substantial for breakfast, but you had plenty of options for anything you might want. We enjoyed breakfast here in the lounge and then went back to our theme park view room and called bell services, asked them to come get all of our luggage, and then we went back to the lounge to wait for our room to be ready.
We worked there in the lounge for a little while, and then they started bringing out all the different lunchtime snacks, the kind of light afternoon snacks that they normally do. And again, they spread it out all across the counter here with a lot of different options. Nothing super substantial except this one random area where they had a soup, and apparently it was corn chowder. That was substantial, but everything else was just kind of lighter snacks. Around 2 o'clock, we got the text message that our room was ready, so we headed down the hallway and took some pictures in the room and then did our room tour for YouTube and Facebook. Now, like I said, we do have a king room here, and it's a little bit of a different layout because you got the king bed instead of two queens. So we do have two of the nightstands next to the bed instead of just the one in the middle. And we also have a little more space over there in the main part of the room, and we have a different couch, which I'll show you here in just a moment. And if you'd like to see the entire tour, it's linked up there in the corner and down in the description below.
After we took the pictures and video, we headed back to the lounge because here in this lounge, they had something we had not experienced anywhere else. They have a tea time. We're like, okay, we definitely want to check this out. And it's kind of funny that they have a tea time because there's literally tea available at every single club level lounge all day long. So we were interested to see what made this tea time different. And we got there and they had a red velvet cake that looked like a popcorn bucket, and I thought that was really odd, but okay. They also had some banana bread that was delicious. We absolutely loved this. And the main thing that did make this tea time were the butters and jams, one of the jams looking like a Mickey head, which was a nice little touch, and the scones. And these were good. I won't say that I was super impressed with them, but I guess I'm more of a banana bread person. But that's okay because I had both options. So I did try the scones, didn't really love those, so I ate a bunch of the banana bread instead.
I think it's great how we're just so fancy here at the Grand Floridian. We must have afternoon tea, you know, and kind of pinkies out and drink some tea and eat. No, we didn't do that. We just stuffed our faces with banana bread, and I had coffee from the Nespresso machine. I didn't bother with the tea. I'm like, coffee, banana bread, I'm good to go. After we snacked for a while there on those, we headed back to the room to work for the rest of the afternoon. Alyssa called Bell Services to bring over our luggage. They brought that over there. And then we headed back downstairs for dinner time at the Club Level Lounge. Once again, they had a full spread all across the counter. They had lots of vegetables and salads and hors d'oeuvres, things like that. Then they had some breads and some chilled strawberry soup from 1900 Park Fare. They had chicken skewers with sweet and sour chicken. They had Korean short ribs, and then they had other things like cheeses and grapes and crackers, that kind of stuff. And they also had a kids area.
And the kids area actually did not go as planned. As I was videoing all the food, I headed over there and they had chicken tenders, so I wanted to show that they had that. I lifted the lid and found there was absolutely nothing inside. And this is not normal for club level. This just happened to be, they just hadn't brought it out yet. But I laughed so hard because of course there was no way for me to know there was nothing inside. And I'm just busy videoing, making sure I'm getting everything. And there was nothing there to show. So I just showed the rest of the candies and sweets they had and went back to my seat to continue eating.
I found that I really, really enjoyed the strawberry soup. It was so good. I need to get the recipe for this or something. But I also learned something, that if you serve soup in a square container, that's not a good idea, because you have a round spoon trying to get the soup out and you have 4 corners you're trying to... It just doesn't work. I tried and it didn't work, so I just had several of them to make up for the fact that I couldn't quite get it all out. You know, just making sure I really get my money's worth in strawberry soup.
I got a little bit of pretty much everything because I wanted to try and see what I liked the best and then go back for more of that. I really thought I was going to love the chicken skewers, but they are spicy and it did have a good amount of heat, so I couldn't really taste the flavor as much. So it didn't go back for those, but I loved the Korean short ribs so much.
Yeah.
Went back for a lot of those.
Those were very, very good. We waited here in the lounge for dessert because we had plenty of dinner. We're going to let our food settle for a minute, but we also want dessert. We know they've had a lot of good stuff so far today. I'm hoping dessert's not going to be any different. They started bringing things out and setting them up, and once again, they just covered the entire counter area with lots of different options. As we kind of expected at the Grand Floridian, there were lots of little cake options and little tarts, but they also had some stuff like brownies and the same banana bread we had earlier, and of course cookies and candies and stuff like that. Overall, I think this is probably the best variety of dessert for any club level. Even though most club levels have several options, this one has a lot of different options. Nothing super big like a cobbler or a pie or anything like that, but they just had a lot of different options.
And I really like that because we have had a few instances where there are 3 or 4 different options and they're not anything we really want. They look good, I'm sure they taste good, it just wasn't what we wanted. So it's really nice that they have so many different options for basically whatever you're in the mood for. We enjoyed a couple plates of desserts and trying all the different things, and even piled up a plate to take back to our room because we really like having desserts for later in the night once the lounge is closed. So we hung out in the room for a couple of hours and then we decided it was time for a walk. We checked our watch and did not realize how late it was. It was actually after midnight. We're like, well, it's still a great time to go for a walk. We're both night owls and we wanted to get out and move because we've pretty much been sitting in the lounge eating all day long. And of course it's really hot because it's August in Florida. So we enjoy going out at night because it's a lot cooler. So we made our way down to the lounge because we are going to head out. And it was just so peaceful and quiet in here. This is a very, very busy lounge because it's very close to the quiet pool. Makes it very easy to go to the quiet pool for a little bit, come back, grab some snacks, go back out. So people were doing that all day long. And I love that it's easy to do that, but it just made for a very, very busy day all day long in this lounge. And to come down here and have no one in it, no cast members, nothing, be so peaceful and quiet. It was actually really cool to be in here. We then went for our walk and just love walking around Disney at night because it is so quiet. It's just a different way to enjoy the resort. We love it during the day when everyone's having fun and of course it's pretty outside, the sun, but at night it's just so peaceful and it's a really nice time for us to just walk and enjoy being at Walt Disney World. After we finished our walk, we did head back to our room and that was the end of our day today. So we'll see you tomorrow
for our Year with the Ears.